Deadzone Rogue had been on my Steam wishlist for quite some time, and after playing it, I want to say this is the perfect example of don't judge a book by its cover. Story is simple and digestible, the gameplay mechanics are pretty straightforward, even after about 40 hours of gameplay, the game still keeps on delivering. This game is worth your time, so put your helmets on and let's find out why I believe so.
Goddamn cat. Say, you wouldn't happen to know what's going on, would you? I've got to end this before it can recover again.
Please, do not kill us. Take the escape pod and we will release your ship and send the remaining colonists to Earth.
Story-wise, the game presents a very tight and simple premise, which in my honest opinion does a great job of giving you enough context for you to do what you do in the game. Just in case, I will say we enter spoiler alert territory here, so if you don't want me to spoil it for you, feel free to jump to this part of the video.
And here we go.
You wake up on a ship, docked on a space station just outside Earth's atmosphere to find out the whole station's population is dead and overrun by battalions of machines and drones gone rogue.
Gee, I never heard that one before.
You have no memory of who you are and what your purpose is. In fact, you're not even in your own body, but you need to get to the bottom of this. Through the original 3 zones of the space station, this will lead you to a corrupted AI, which during your slumber decided to play God and try to merge into one organic and synthetic matter. You kill the AI, at least the physical form, and you are presented with a choice to either destroy the space station along with the AI, sacrificing yourself, or you use the escape pod to go back to Earth and fight another day. From what I would gather, I can only guess canonically the actual choice you've made was the escape pod, because at the time of me playing, March 2026, Zone 4 had just been released. I would assume more zones will be released in the future with more story breadcrumbs. In short, Earth is attacked anyway, and the story takes us further to a mining facility on an asteroid by the name of Apophis, where you discover a secret cabal wanted to achieve singularity by creating an AI, which itself decided in pure Terminator fashion to turn on its masters and create an even greater AI. Ultimate plan to turn the whole planet of Earth into one giant AI.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
So, that's the main gist of it. The story is presented in a very condensed and kind of minimalistic way. It works pretty well and in a way that can be further expanded by the developers in any possible direction, and I full-heartedly hope the developers further expand on the story, as I see a lot of promise in it as a sci-fi fan myself. Simplicity sometimes works wonders. The only reason I'm not giving a higher star rating is because clearly the story is not finished yet. If we talk about quantity, it's the size of the piece named Donate to Charity on the pie chart called What Will I Do If I Win $100 Million? Story, 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay, why are you telling me this? Getting direct answers isn't something I'm really used to.
Deadzone Rogue is a roguelite co-op first-person shooter. First off, what is a roguelite? The game is comprised of runs or a campaign where you play until you get to the end, all in one take, or you ultimately can't keep up with the escalating difficulty and you eventually die. Therefore, ends your run or campaign, so you have to start over. But that's where the beauty is. During your run, you collect some form of a currency. Here in this case is form of tech points, which when you die, you will use to upgrade yourself, adding passive boosts such as more health, deal more damage, etc. Next run should go a lot more smoothly for you until you die again, upgrade some more, rinse and repeat. Your campaign is made of, as of me writing this in March 2026, total of 4 zones. For what I would assume, first 3 are the main original campaign, and an additional 4th zone takes place in the aforementioned asteroid mining facility as an included free DLC, plus points for that, with clear indication that there would be more zones possibly in the future. I really hope I am correct with that. You choose the zone you want to visit, choose the mission, from which first one is a story mission, the rest are secondary, called specialty missions, where you further delve into the story and are comprised of runs with some form of a set requirement or set modifiers, such as limit you only using one specific weapon or throw you against specific enemy types, which most will give you access to new weapons, skins, or abilities. And at the bottom of the list is usually a type of challenge missions, devised as a type of endless runs, where you just keep going and every 10 rooms or waves you clear unlock more skins for your weapons. You will always start with a basic gun to pass the first room, and things will pick up from there. Enemies drop scrap, which you can treat it as the gold currency for the current run pretty much, which will be used to purchase or upgrade your loadout. On a complete RNG basis, enemies can drop different weapons or body armor for you to equip, and note that this is the only way for you to acquire armor. As for the weapons, I'll explain in a sec. Both weapons and armor have level ratings and are color-coded, something we've seen countless times in other games, so it's nothing original, but I would assume it's made for the sake of simplicity. Gray as for a common, lowest tier, then followed by green, blue, purple, and in the end the legendary level in gold. And each of those consecutive colors give additional bonuses to either your weapon or armor when you're upgrading them. At the end of the room, when you clear it from all enemies, you will have different random orbs floating in the air, which will provide you with random buffs or perks for you to use for the current run, thus making you more and more powerful for what it is to come, ranging from buffs and damage, elemental chances, you name it. Zone 1 keeps those buffs and perks simple. Just choose the ones you believe will benefit you best, but it becomes more complicated in the future zones. In Zone 2, you will have additionally a choice called Superior for more intense buffs on top of the others that you already got accustomed to, and when you get to Zone 3 missions, you will now be faced with the so-called synergies or type of fusions, which you can get if you choose specific buffs and perks that work well together in order to make some insane at times builds. Frankly, if the RNG gods happen to be with you and with the right selection of perks, buffs, and following synergy fusions, you can be as if you just input the god mode cheat. Like it or not, whatever choice you're presented with, the perks and buffs is always completely random, so you're encouraged, low-key forced, to constantly experiment. Virtually no run is the same and you won't always get what you want, but on the other hand, replayability factor is through the roof here. Every mission is about either total of 20 or 30 rooms for you to clear, and every 5 or so rooms you enter, I call them safe rooms, where you get a little bit of health back and you have a fabricator, where you can use the scraps you were collecting by now from enemies to upgrade and modify your current weapons, or possibly purchase another if you don't particularly like the current ones you have. Again, all is completely random and choices are limited. Sometimes the RNG gods are with you when it comes to, let's say you want to change the type of elemental damage for your gun to match the current elemental main buff you've chosen. And other times the RNG gods instead give you the middle finger, so you just have to make do with what you got and hope you get better odds next time you get to a safe room or as a possible luck with the enemy drop.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
At the end of the last room in your run, you will always be met with either a final boss, sometimes bosses, plural, or cases where the game would throw at you an abusively huge amount of enemies. You can choose difficulty of the mission beforehand. There are a total of 5: Adventure, Normal, Hard, Expert, and Nightmare, the last 2 being locked by default and being unlocked consecutively. Main choice of the difficulty is more tied to how much challenge you want to encounter. It doesn't throw more enemies at you, but it makes them more spongy, and in the end you get increased loot in the form of tech currency. Going in solo, I'll talk about when going co-op a little later, the game is not difficult, especially if you are someone who is used to fast-paced first-person shooters, darting and dashing all over the place, similar to Doom Eternal or any boomer shooter. Adventure will be an absolute breeze. Normal is the standard difficulty, that's the difficulty I played pretty much the whole time. Hard is for when you happen to find normal a little bit too easy and want to challenge yourself a little bit. And basically from hard going up in the difficulty is, I believe, the place where you should start looking around for friends and company to help out, aka the co-op mode. The aforementioned passive boosts you will be upgrading with the tech currency are spread across 3 skill trees: defense, damage, and utility. The superior items can be acquired only from Zone 2 and up for those additional buffs from the specialized tree. As you can see, the game seems pretty small and humble on the surface, but sure has quite a lot to offer. Just look at the sheer amount of weapons. Look at this!
Holy mommy fucking shit!
There's bolt action, there's burst, there's full automatic, there are pistols, SMGs, assault rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles. Enemy variety may not be this big, but they cover all the essentials. Ranged, melee, tanky, big, small, shielded, on the ground, or flying. In short, in terms of complaining about variety, you have no leg to stand on here.
Well, can't argue that.
Bosses are a bit of a hit and miss. You got the standard from here to the moon sized health bars as expected. Sometimes makes 3 or 4 breaks spawning enemies for you to deal with. Otherwise it's pretty straightforward. Shoot until it's dead. The game here concentrates on your method of killing and how to kill your enemies faster, so one thing you're spared from is thinking about ammo. You've got an unlimited supply, which I find as a huge plus.
Oh, thank God for that.
On top of all this, you can enjoy the game with up to 2 more people and make this a co-op experience. You can choose whether you want to engage missions offline, aka solo mode, only friends can join you, or turn your game session public where random strangers going after the same mission can easily find you and join you. Only small notes of complaints here I have here about this. If you didn't start the mission run together with the others, for one, they can only join you when you find yourself in the safe room, and two, if it's a type of endless run challenge mission like Gauntlet, let's say, they cannot join you mid-run, so in both cases they can only spectate your game. They can only join your game once you die and find yourself back on the ship, and most of them don't wait that long. Another point of contention for me was the loot. It's a shared loot, unfortunately, so whatever an enemy drops, only one of you can get it. And sometimes the game with its RNG can be also very, very stingy.
That's stupid. Why?
There's no mechanics in place in the form of upscaling the difficulty or maybe throw you more enemies in case you're going in a party. Full pack of 3 players face the same amount of enemies as if you were alone, and thus makes the rooms sometimes laughably easy. Another thing is, if you happen to die during your run but you have no desire to change mission, just want to try it again, you will have to go back to your ship and manually start the mission again. I know, it's a small thing, but I would appreciate if we had a restart mission button or something like that, even if it only is going to work when you're playing solo. And finally, one last thing, I barely finished Zone 2, basically halfway through the whole game, and I found myself that I already maxed out all passive perks and superior tier upgrades. So now, I keep playing and I keep getting these tick currencies and I initially had no clue what to do with them. With the recent introduction of Zone 4, which introduced the Nanite Forge next to the Fabricator in the safe rooms, there you can use that tick currency to further boost and upgrade your weapons, giving them additional buffs during your run and even allowing you to exceed the normal upgrade run level cap of 10 to make it go up to maximum level 13. I hope with future zones comes more opportunities, more perks and abilities. Gameplay, a strong 4 out of 5 stars. In terms of design, the game did raise some questions for me. On the graphical side, it's pretty simple and detailed. A lot of people assumed some level or major level of generative AI must have been used. I tried to investigate, but I can't neither confirm or deny that, as mostly I find only people's opinions and assumptions with no factual proof. I personally really like the voice chosen for the main character, as he sounds like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Some of you know him from The Walking Dead. I know him mostly as the father of my favorite brother duo, John Winchester from Supernatural. One thing that I found curious is I couldn't find any proof that this is actually him or any real voice actor. In fact, there is no list of voice actors cast, which further I believe feeds the fire about the AI usage, as people assume that most probably the voices were also fully AI generated. Be that as it may, I'm not going to get into this topic because my videos are not about AI politics for or against. It's about me reviewing games based on their gaming merit to determine if they deserve your attention with what they have to offer. Design of the weapons and the enemies is not anything we haven't seen before, but with what we have, I believe it's more than enough to keep you satisfied. Music, I found it to be mostly dependent on the zone where you are. Haven't really listened carefully, I would admit. There are like 1 or maximum 2 songs per zone in an endless loop. Similar to the zones, the music itself escalates the higher you go in the zones, but frankly, it seems a bit limited, and for me at one point it started to annoy me. Most of the times the game is pretty stable in terms of frame rate, although on a couple of times when I was paired with 2 more players, my high frame rate all of a sudden dropped to absolutely jarring 20 frame rate without any clear indication as to why. Zone 4 maps in particular, the one called Battle Line, seems to be a bit unbalanced performance-wise. I hope they fix this in the future. The game currently comes with 2 paid cosmetic DLCs giving you exclusive skins for your weapons and for your character, and for, notice this, title font.
What?
I'm sorry, let me repeat that. $12.49 for a font.
You can't be serious.
Is this DLC sponsored by CapCut by chance? What the f? In conclusion, graphics and effects are okay, music is forgettable, and with the stability issues, especially more prevalent in Zone 4 missions. For the design, I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars.
Just Mars, if it is given resources, there's no telling what it could become.
At the end of the day, is the game worth it? I'd say yes, especially if you like roguelites, co-ops, and first-person shooters, especially in that combo. Don't want to sound like a gaming ad from 10 years ago, but the word I would use for this game is addictive. Final score for Deadzone Rogue, because it still seems pretty promising, I'll give it just a little nudge and give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you all for watching. This is SaltyKal. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my honest reviews. Have a good one. See you next time.